Hey guys, what's up? Just wanted to shoot this quick little video and tell you about the few things that I did so that I had an increase in my conversions by almost 700%. Today even it went up to 1300%, meaning we actually went from a lousy average conversion of 1% to today 13%. Now since it's averaging the conversions, including of course the conversions we had before the change I applied based on Michael Millman's input, I think our conversion rates right now are even higher. But it's a drastically extreme change in conversion rate, and all just by applying a couple of things that Michael Millman, told me to do. And even though we talked about a lot of stuff, and unfortunately I can't share everything. I mean, even if I would try to explain everything, a lot of stuff that he talks about uh, comes from his huge background in copywriting. I mean, as I've said before, he was doing converting, or me at least, powerful sales copy and copywriting even way before I was born. So I mean, there's lots of stuff that he has talked about with me, which just literally blew my mind. And I just wanna express a couple of things, or at least show you a couple of things that he told me to change on my sales copy, and how I went from that lousy 1% conversion to on the front end doing today even 13% conversions, and how we went from not so good EPC on the front end to almost $2 EPC on the front end, and in total an EPC of $4 something across our entire funnel, which is really good. And I owe a lot of that I owe to Michael Millman. So yeah, in front of you, you can see the sales copy, the sales letter that we did for Video at Marniki. Um, the funny thing is that the few changes, or at least the feedback that Michael gave me, and which resulted in just changing a couple of things here and there, um, isn't it's not one of those, one of his famous makeovers that he's doing, not at all. So imagine the impact on that. As I've said, it's only like, a couple of things that he saw by looking at my sales copy, and he said you will definitely increase conversions by just, doing this and that, and you need to consider this and blah blah blah. All right, he didn't say blah blah blah. I'm saying that, but I hope that makes sense. But I'm gonna explain to you what those are. Now, if you're not familiar with Michael Millman, and it's not that he's paying me anything to promote him like this, it's not even that I'm promoting him, it's just that I also want to show you guys how you can increase your conversion rates on your sales letters, your sales thread, or whatever. But Michael Millman, if you haven't heard of him before, Michael Millman is the copywriter of copywriters. I mean, he's been around for a very, very long time. He was doing, powerful sales copy, copywriting, even way before I was born. So this is a legend that gets recognized by the giants in internet marketing and outside internet marketing. So it's really like, I hope you see that it's a privilege to have someone like that in our groups on Facebook. Now, I'm gonna show you exactly what I changed. Now, the first thing that he saw, and everyone knows, like, at least people from my age, and maybe even people who are a little bit older than me, they've probably heard of Gangnam Style, and Psy with his video on YouTube that went crazy viral. And I thought, since we are selling a video viral plugin that really works, it has worked for us, that we could use the Gangnam Style angle within our sales thread and use that to entice people to eventually buy, since it will sound familiar to them, since they will then be able to visualize potential behind our plugin. Now, that wasn't a really good call from my end. That wasn't a good decision, since well, actually, Michael Millman told me that, and it was very interesting, and have thought about it a few times, but never really looked into it. But he mentioned that the demographics on these forums, like FSO and Warrior Forum, that they are usually, like, the majority of those people are 45 years up, 45 years old and up. So these are not like young, fresh people like me. Well, fresh, I just mean by, being very young. But it means that there's a big part, like on these forums and in our buyers list, there are, above 50 even. like a lot of people. And I went checking, and I went to like Alexa.com. I checked the demographics on the Warrior Forum, and I saw that, like, in fact, that the most overrepresented age group on the Warrior Forum is 55 to 65. Now that might sound surprising to you, but it also explains why a lot of your customers having technical issues, not understanding certain concepts, and sending you ridiculous types of emails or requests or replies or whatever, that just makes you think like, where's this guy coming from? It's mostly because they're not really that, you know, they're not really that skilled, technically speaking, when it comes to internet marketing. Now that should explain also the types of emails and stuff that you're receiving from those people, but it also explains why you should not be hyping up things too much. You shouldn't be mentioning things that they might not be familiar with. You need to keep it in a way, as Michael told me, in a way so that even young people and old people or older people can understand what you're trying to offer, so that the value of your offer still comes across no matter how old they are. So when he told me that, I was thinking about my hook, and then he actually mentioned that, if there's a way for me to change my hook since I had that Gangnam Style in it. So the first thing I did, I changed my hook from having the Gangnam Style thing incorporated to a generally interesting sounding hook that will make sure that young and even older people would understand, and even people who were not interested in driving traffic but still would saw the potential behind this. All right, so I did that, and then he told me, like, you have a couple of videos. I had 2 videos on my sales thread. One was a demonstration of the front end, and then a demonstration of the back end, and it was not scripted. I said a couple of things, just improvised a couple of things, and it wasn't rehearsed, nothing like that. Now, of course, that's a major mistake that you shouldn't make. And from previous experiences, I did it before. I had good conversion rates. I actually had excellent conversion rates when I did it, but this time, I probably went a little bit too far by not rehearsing it, or not, preparing the material for the videos, whereas it looked too much like of a raw format and had too much information that perhaps would not be interesting for people. They just wanted to know what it would do for them, or at least what we got to offer, what it would do for them, and what they would need to do to get their hands on it. So I completely changed it. I went on to create a script, an entire script using slides, as you can see right here. I created slides, PowerPoint presentation. I rehearsed it. I made sure that I was able to, express the emotions behind the words that I was saying. I had an automated, a live demo while I was doing my script. It was all really clean, fast, and instead of those 25 minutes of videos that I had, 2 videos, it now was packed into 6 minutes, and it had even more valuable information in it than the other 2 videos. So it was a really clean video that we eventually did, and you can check it out by going to the forum special offers and looking for video at Barneby. Now, the third thing he said is there's no social proof within your sales thread, or at least within your sales letter. Now, usually what I always do is when I create my sales letters, I incorporate reviews and testimonials that I receive from customers and from partners and whoever. All right. For some stupid reason, I just didn't think of it. Mostly I think because my ego told me this offer is too good to, that it doesn't need reviews or testimonials. Now, even though this might sound very simple to do and, makes sense for you to apply, what Michael Millman managed to do is see exactly the missing elements that could increase my conversions. And it's not only by adding reviews. He gave me specific instructions like what type of reviews or testimonials to add and how to get them so that I could add them to my sales letter. Now, it turned out that I was able to add 10 of those. I had lots of raving reviews from people, so I was able to incorporate them, did that, and added it to the sales letter. Then it was the structure itself. Now, I had a couple of mythbusters within my sales letter, and it seemed that they were taking people away from what I was offering to another story that might not resonate with the message that I was trying to get across. So I removed those mythbusters. I rewrote a couple of other things and made sure that it was all really tightly built around the plugin that we was offering, and I added that change. Now, another thing I did is I made sure when I scroll down is since I had a couple of previews of how the plugin would look like, or eventually like how it would benefit them. I just had a couple of like small little images, thumbnails of how they would look like the plugin. We decided to, instead of doing that, to have bigger previews, examples of how the video plugin would look like, and I added those, which I think seemed to work really well because having these bigger examples, images of examples than really small ones would trigger more people to buy eventually. I then went on to, instead of like doing one or two license options, pricing options, I made it in, because sometimes it works. Like sometimes when you create two license options, and I did that for the very same reason. You create two pricing options because you want one to be bought. All right, you want to increase the conversions on one specific pricing option. Usually the most expensive, or if you're doing three of them, it's usually the middle one. All right. Now, sometimes that might not mean that your conversions will increase. Sometimes people want you to make, a choice for them. So what I did, I eliminated the other pricing options, and I just offered one. And by doing that, I just had like, as you can see, one big ass buy button, so that people wouldn't have to guess which one to, which pricing option to go with. Then I again went on to follow Michael Millman's advice, and I added reviews, testimonials, down in the sales letter as well, so people would be able to see that social proof again. Another thing actually that I'm forgetting is I also, in the sales video and in my header, I incorporated a case study that we did, and he advised me to add that into my sales letter. I did that as well. Since I applied those, a couple of feedback he sent me, like, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. Like, it's not rocket science that he was able to point out exactly what I needed to do so I can increase my conversions. But meaning that it's not rocket science doesn't mean it's still a certain gift or a certain skill that you need to have in order to find these simple things to change. And Michael Millman was able to like do that in like really fast. Like, bum, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to change, and here you go. And it worked. So this wasn't even his, as I've said, is one of his famous makeovers. So I'm still imagining if he would have done, had the time to do for me to do the complete makeover, that it would have gone completely nuts as to conversion rates, etc. But even based on just a couple of feedback that he gave me, feedback points, it still went on and did much better than before. So yeah, this is, as I've said, a video that I wanted to share with you guys so I could show you just a couple of things that you should look at once you see like your conversions not being that great as you've expected. And also, if you for some reason gonna launch a product and you need a solid copy, or you already have copy and you want to increase that, like in my case, like I mean, like, really, to be totally honest with you guys, it doesn't mean that because I like experienced a 700% conversion or increase of my conversion rate, that you should expect the same. But still, like if you want someone to take your copy to the next level so that it will convert much more with less traffic, so that you can make, of course, lots more sales, then of all people I've talked to, and I've talked to a lot of copywriters in my life, like a lot, all right, and of all those I've talked to personally and I've seen the actual work, like it still amazes me that Michael Millman has shared case studies, like real actual case studies within his, within a couple of Facebook groups. But if you need someone like that, then just hit him up. I'm not sure if he has the time to take on a project. I'm not even sure, like, how much he would charge you. And all the other things involved. I'm not sure. He doesn't even know that I'm posting this video. But this is a sincere video, an honest video that I wanted to create and share with you guys, to tell you that if you want to take things to the next level, whether you're doing a forum launch or a self-hosted launch, definitely hit him up and see if you can get him, because it's a great opportunity to have him by your side, and to have your sales letters go and crush it for you. Other than that, yeah, I just wanted to get across also the other message, that keep in mind that you're not talking to young people between the age of 20 or 30, whatever. You're talking mostly to people who are above 40, at least above 40 years old. That's the big majority, and some of them are women, but they are mostly men. So make sure that your product names, your sales copy have more like a serious level to it. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying that you should, stop by using all those wordplay kind of product names and hooks and etc. I'm just trying to make sure that you don't make the same mistake as I did, and thinking that there are people on the forums who, that buy products and who are aware of all the pop culture kind of thing that's going on. So make sure your sales copy, your sales letters speak to a broad audience, and that way you'll be able to, get them to be responsive and make more sales. All right, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, or at least learned something. And yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'm looking forward to talk to you. All right, thank you for watching, and bye-bye.